item 6A, approving First Amendment to the February 25, 2025 ground lease between the City of Grand Island and the Hall County Livestock Improvement Association. Mrs. McAloon.
Thank you, Mayor. On February 25th, via Resolution 2025-67, the City Council for the City of Grand Island authorized the Mayor to execute a ground lease between the City and Hall County Livestock Improvement Association, commonly known as Fonner Park, to facilitate the improvement of parking facilities on currently unimproved city-owned land near the Fonner Park campus. The mayor has not yet signed the ground lease into law because we, following the public comment by former Mayor Vavricek, entered into further negotiations with Fonner Park. And as a result of those further negotiations, we developed and approved an amendment that's been presented to you tonight. The amendment is to Section 20 of the ground lease, and it will facilitate termination of some or all of the parking access should future land use needs change on the campus, subject to the city providing similar replacement parking access. This amendment has already been approved by Fonner Park at a special board meeting on the morning of March 3rd, 2025. There is no additional fiscal impact. As you recall, the lease had no cost to the city. Fonner Park would pay for all of the improvements and would pay for maintenance of the public parking lot at all times during the life of the lease. So at this time, City Council City staff recommend that the Council move to approve the First Amendment to the February 25, 2025 ground lease between the City of Grand Island and the Hall County Livestock Improvement Association.
Mrs. Parr, you signed our speaker's sign-in sheet, but I understand you are just here to answer any questions, if there are any. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 2025 Tax 70.
Thank you, Mr. Landfear.
I second.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Mr. Sheard.
Thank you. I guess my question is, was this change in response that we could maybe expand State Fair buildings? Was that the incentive here, or the precipitous of changing this?
What precipitated it was the comments by former Mayor Vavricek of concern on behalf of the State Fair that the lease didn't have any termination clauses other than for default by either party. So we worked with Fonner Park to provide termination at will with 12 months notice in order to give time to provide that replacement parking space.
And the deal we have to have for the casino, what they need is paved parking, correct?
Correct.
And we'd have a year that we would have to come up with that. Would that have to be on our land somewhere? We'd have to come up with it, or would Fonner be? There's that land south of the Fonner Park Road as well.
The language that's added to the lease is that we would have to provide Fonner Park with equivalent replacement parking spots in the same quantity as may be removed. Equivalent replacement parking will be parking that is paved, lit, and within approximately the same distance from the Fonner Park / State Fair campus as the existing parking lot, and then will allow for parking for the same term as the agreement.
Okay.
So equivalent, comparable parking somewhere else on the campus, somewhere else on property nearby.
And all parties are confident that if that happened, we could find those spots?
Yes, I mean, it may be that the spots are vertical, but
Gotcha.
The concern that was expressed is it was a 50-year lease with 5-year renewals, and that was just an unknown factor for whether the State Fair would need to grow in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Nickerson.
I would sure hate to have Jamie waste her trip out here today. So, Jamie, would you mind coming up and there was concern before that was the Nebraska State Fair okay with this? Let's just hear from you because you can tell us exactly what's going on.
You're asking if the State Fair is okay with the lease, is that correct?
With the proposal, because there was concern a
Yes.
week ago that maybe you weren't involved, and we're right now in the public, so
Yeah.
just share with us.
The State Fair was involved in conversations early on, and I think this amendment will make the State Fair very comfortable moving forward with the lease as presented.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please vote. Motion adopted.
We now take up